Following in the footsteps of The Hunger Games, the Divergent series evolved from best-selling young adult books to a popular film franchise. With the final installment just around the corner, we're revisiting the 2014 movie that started it all, Divergent. Think you know everything about Tris, 4, and the rest of the 5 factions? Think again. I'm Kylie with Cinematica, and we're counting down the 107 facts you should know about Divergent. Let's get started. Number 1. Divergent is based on the book by Veronica Roth, who was only 21 years old and still in college at Northwestern University when she finished writing it. Upon receiving the news of her book deal, she dove into a bathtub filled with 42 bags of marshmallows. Number 2. Veronica Roth was largely influenced to write Divergent after taking Psychology 101 and learning about exposure therapy, which inspired the Dauntless' fear simulations. She imagined that a group aiming to overcome fear would use it as training. Number 3. How did Harry Potter and Mean Girls influenced Divergent? Roth's idea of creating 5 factions was inspired by the motif in other fiction, like the houses in Harry Potter, as well as caste systems, personality tests, and the cliques from Mean Girls. Number 4. It's unclear how far in the future Divergent is set. Roth said she tried to determine a date, but stressed herself out trying to account for how long it takes for radical social changes to occur. Number 5. Roth actually has a whole Divergent playlist of songs she listened to that inspired her while writing the book. Some prominent bands on the playlist are Evanescence and Flyleaf, which explains why everything is so bleak. Number 6. Divergent was an instant hit, with Roth receiving the Goodreads Choice Award in 2011 in the Best Young Adult Fantasy and Science Fiction category and in the Favorite Book of 2011 category. Number 7. The producers of the mega hit Twilight series got a hold of the book before it hit shelves and bought it in hopes of launching another teen, female-led franchise. Number 8. Turning the big book into a readable screenplay was an enormous undertaking. The producers had to sift through over a dozen screenwriters before entrusting the script assignment to Evan Doherty, who had the impossible task of slimming down the 500-page book. Number 9. In order to capture the reality of Tris's intense military training, Doherty says he took inspiration from 2 awesome but extremely different military films, Top Gun and Full Metal Jacket. Number 10. Fans loved the super empowering dialogue in the book, and to honor that, producers made a list of the most powerful lines and handed that list to Doherty before he started writing to make sure that they were all included. Number 11. To direct the epic action-adventure story, Summit chose Neil Berger, who most recently had a big hit with the thriller Limitless. Number 12. Berger was most excited, he says, because Divergent was a great opportunity to come up with a visual language for the future. Number 13. Berger made a big, bold change when he came on board. In order to increase the suspense in the story, he and Doherty wrote Chicago as a communal utopia so that when things start to fall apart, it comes as more of a surprise to the audience and to Tris. Number 14. Because the cause of the dystopic future was so nondescript, the film sets were designed with the thought that society progressed for about 50 years from the present before being halted by some freak natural disaster. Number 15. Divergent is often compared to its young adult action-adventure predecessor, Hunger Games, due to its similar premise and characters. To make a name for itself next to this popular franchise, producers honed in on the urban setting of the movie, hoping it would differentiate it from the rural and natural world of Hunger Games. Number 16. If you take the first letters of each of the factions, Factionless, Abnegation, Candor, Amity, Dauntless, and Erudite, they spell out facade, a not very subtle reference to the book's theme of a crumbling society pretending everything is fine. Number 17. Berger proudly honored the setting of the book and movie and filmed on location in Chicago. While the city was aged digitally in post-production, he wanted to show off as much as possible with practical photography. Number 18. Since the film was shot so close to her home in Chicago, Veronica Roth made frequent visits to the set. Whenever the crew got the word that she was coming, they put out a bowl of fruit roll-ups for her. Sweet. Number 19. To show Tris's transformation from Abnegation to Dauntless, Veronica Roth gave her the stuffy name Beatrice that could then be abbreviated to a tough one, Tris. Number 20. Beatrice isn't the only character with a meaningful name. 4, whose real name is Tobias, is named after Roth's favorite Animorphs character, and Peter's name is an homage to the morally ambiguous character from Ender's Game. Number 21. When seeking an actress to play Tris, the producers were on a mission to find a young actress who could play Dauntless as well as Abnegation. When the team met with Shailene Woodley, she mentioned that she was going to be participating in an urban kidnapping in which she is taken hostage, dropped in the city, and and forced to survive. As if that wasn't dauntless enough, she also revealed that she hunts for her own food. So, needless to say, she was the only candidate to tackle this role. Number 22. No newcomer to the small and big screen, Woodley had previously starred in The Secret Life of the American Teenager, as well as successful films like The Spectacular Now and The Descendants. Number 23. Part of Woodley's draw to the movie was the realistically paced depiction of the Tris-4 relationship, which she contrasted against the overdramatic teen romance in Twilight. Number 24. Woodley had concerns about taking the lead role in a major young adult franchise movie. That is, until she consulted the expert on the topic, Jennifer Lawrence. Within minutes, Lawrence changed Shailene's mind, assuring her that while there are hard moments, she wouldn't regret it for a second. Number 25. When asked who would win in a young adult protagonist throwdown, Katniss or Tris, Shailene Woodley replied, "I don't think either of them would actually fight each other. Tris would look at Katniss and be like, dude, your bow skills are really going to complement my firearm skills. So let's just hold hands and take on the world together." Well said, Woodley. Number 26. No newbie to novel adaptations, this film marks Woodley's fourth. Her other films prior, The Descendants, The Spectacular Now, and Whitebird in a Blizzard were all based on books too. Number 27. No craft services for this girl. Woodley prepared her own food while filming the movie and often tried to pawn it off on others. Number 28. Ansel Elgort, a relative newcomer at the time, played Tris's brother Caleb Pryor. Though a big feat, his only previous film credit was the remake of Carrie. Number 29. Woodley and Elgort had almost co-starred together in Carrie. She was up for the leading role and he played her love interest. Known for being very selective when it comes to signing onto projects, Woodley passed. Number 30. Elgort and Woodley got the opportunity to share the screen post-Divergent. The pair co-starred in The Fault in Our Stars, switching from playing brother and sister to boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh. Number 31. Tris's mother was the only character in the book that Roth based off of a real person. Inspired by the women who raised her, she drew from her mom's own self-sacrifice and helpful nature, which she perceived as being badass. Number 32. Tris's mother, Natalie, was played by Ashley Judd. She got her start acting in another sci-fi production, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and has since appeared in Heat, Double Jeopardy, and Olympus Has Fallen. Number 33. During one shootout sequence, Ashley Judd accidentally skidded into Shailene Woodley, causing both actresses to go down. Judd later joked that taking out the number one woman on the call sheet is a bad idea when production is so close to wrapping. Number 34. Tris's father, Andrew Pryor, is played by Tony Goldwyn. It was originally reported that Aaron Eckhart would be cast, but this Scandal/Tarzan star swooped in and nabbed the role. Number 35. It wasn't hard for Elgort to look up to Goldwyn as a fatherly role model. According to director Berger, he had a total man crush on him on set. The two couldn't get enough of each other, and at one point went out to dinner 3 nights in a row. Number 36. Lucas Till, Jeremy Irvine, and Alex Pettyfer, and many others battled it out for their chance to play the role of 4. Alex Pettyfer had previously starred in I Am Number 4, so that would have been a weird typecast. Number 37. Ansel Elgort also auditioned for the role of 4, but Berger didn't think that he was the right fit. He was too approachable, something that 4 is very much not. Number 38. The producers got so desperate in their search for the perfect 4 that they actually polled book fans via Twitter. Number 39. Producers were finding that no matter how many guys they brought in to audition, Shailene Woodley's presence overpowered them all. When they started to worry they would have to settle for someone less than perfect, Theo James came in and captured just the masculinity and mystery they were looking for. Number 40. When James learned that he got the role of 4, he was doing work in Florida and didn't have anyone to celebrate with. So, as any respectable actor does, he went to a bar alone and got trashed. Number 41. Prior to this role, James had appeared in movies such as Underworld Awakening and The Inbetweeners. The producers definitely knew him most though from that one time he was in Downton Abbey. Yep, that happened. Number 42. An up-and-coming star, Miles Teller, who plays Peter, had previously appeared in 21 and Over, That Awkward Moment, and The Spectacular Now, as well as the award-winning Whiplash. Oh yeah, he was also in a little film called The Fantastic Four, which came later, but we can just ignore that one. Number 43. Producers liked actor Miles Teller from the start, but after auditioning him for 4 and then not quite being able to see him as Eric, they were just stuck. Finally, after seeing his chemistry with Shailene Woodley in The Spectacular Now, the producers cast him as Peter. Shailene Woodley sent him a text asking him to take the role, and he signed on to join his friend. Number 44. Apparently working with Woodley wasn't the only factor that pulled Teller into the project. Producer Lucy Fisher says that the promise of getting to punch her pretty much sealed the deal. That's kind of mean. Number 45. Woodley was very timid when fighting with Miles Teller and kept pulling her punches when she was supposed to be actually hitting him in the throat. They had to go off to the side and try to shoot that one hit repeatedly until she nailed it being his throat. Number 46. Shailene Woodley and Miles Teller shot The Spectacular Now and Divergent so close back to back that every now and then she would still call him Sutter, his character from the previous film. Number 47. Maggie Q, who plays Tori, is certainly no stranger to playing badass characters. Q has appeared in Mission Impossible 3, Live Free or Die Hard, starred in Nikita, and has even voiced Wonder Woman. Number 48. Maggie Q and Jai Courtney have both appeared in the Die Hard franchise in slightly reversed roles. Maggie Q plays a villain, Mai Lin, while Courtney plays McClane's son. Number 49. Zoe Kravitz, who plays Christina, is the proud daughter of some huge entertainment legends. Kravitz's father is musician Lenny Kravitz, and her mother is Cosby Show actress Lisa Bonet. And to top it all off, Zoe's stepfather is Game of Thrones' Jason Momoa. Number 50. Zoe Kravitz generously bought her fellow cast members tickets to see Erykah Badu at the House of Blues in Chicago, which served as the major bonding experience of the production. It also served as the first mass dance party. Number 51. Jai Courtney had done his fair share of action roles before being cast as Eric. Courtney had previously held roles in other action movies like A Good Day to Die Hard, Jack Reacher, and I, Frankenstein. Number 52. Eric's appearance was originally closer to the one in the novel. Long hair, piercings, the whole works. However, they decided to change his look shortly before filming in order to emphasize the physical strength of the character. Number 53. The character of Janine was custom tailored for Kate Winslet, as the producers knew that this esteemed, award-winning, amazing actress was going to be taking the role. Number 54. Winslet is, of course, famous for movies like Titanic and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, so Divergent is a bit of a tonal change from her roles and films. Number 55. The role of Janine Matthews was expanded greatly from the books. There, she only starts to appear near the ending, whereas the movie peppers her across the full feature as more of a looming force. Number 56. The movie went by the codename Catbird during shooting to ward off unwanted attention from fans and paparazzi alike. Number 57. The costume designer incorporated colored accents into the Dauntless' outfits, orange to symbolize new recruits, red for the Dauntless born, and purple for the faction leaders. Number 58. The costume designer took a Divergent tactic when he outsourced production of all the film's clothes. He had only 6 weeks to create all the aesthetics, so some were worked on in Chicago, while others were manufactured in Europe. Number 59. Unlike the brutal scene in the novel, no Dauntless enrollees were hurt or killed during the train jump in the film. Berger chose to strike these from the film adaptation so that Triss could be less worried about the dangers of the world and more infatuated by the adrenaline-fueled lifestyle of the faction. Number 60. The set used for the Dauntless dining room was actually a 1930s indoor swimming pool. Number 61. Talk about dauntless. Shailene Woodley's stunt double free fell 66 feet diving into the net after having also practiced at 80 feet. Number 62. While Triss has 6 fears, Shailene Woodley claims she only has 3. Submarines, outer space, and Kate Winslet. Number 63. Theo James has said that while he doesn't have any specific fears, he would be frightened if he were running naked down the street, covered in buttermilk, being chased by Gandalf. Wouldn't we all, Theo? Wouldn't we all? Number 64. Miles Teller says that his fear landscape would be like the Indiana Jones scene in which Jones finds himself in a room full of snakes. Number 65. While having a set full of 20-somethings did keep everything lively and exciting, it did get to be much at times. Berger says that trying to control them was like trying to herd cats. Number 66. Which faction is for dancing? According to Miles Teller, there was a lot of dancing on set. In fact, the cops were called a number of times when the partying got too out of hand. Number 67. Luckily, the cast remained drama-free, acting as pals both on and off screen and bonding at various concerts like Bob Seger and the Rolling Stones and at hockey games. Number 68. For about a week on set, Miles Teller convinced Ben Lloyd Hughes that Veronica Roth was going to bring his character Will back from the dead. Fully committed to the prank, Teller even planted a fake number in his trailer claiming to be Roth's, but it was actually Jai Courtney's. Number 69. The art department made sure that Triss and Forrest's tattoos appeared futuristic. They designed blood tattoos that were made with a rusty reddish color and used a lot of geometric shapes that would be more difficult to do with conventional tattooing. Number 70. Production designer Andy Nicholson was inspired by 1920s Russian constructivism when creating Theo's tattoo. Number 71. While no needles were used in the making of this body art, Theo's back tattoo took 3 hours to apply by 3 people and was 40 separate pieces. Luckily, Triss's 3 ravens only took about 10 minutes. Number 72. At first, Theo James didn't think of 4 as being a very muscular character and thought his current physique would suffice. However, when he actually got on set, the first thing they wanted to do was buff him up. So he went for an intimidating but not overly muscular look to achieve visceral strength. Number 73. James worked for that faction. He did all of his own fighting stunts, no stunt double required. Number 74. Theo James and Shailene Woodley had a hard time with their fight scenes. For her, it was intimidating going up against a real boxer who could accidentally knock her out cold, and for him, it was intimidating to be going up against a girl who he could accidentally knock out cold. Number 75. In the novel, Triss is 16 and 4 is 18, but in the movie, they decided to age up 4 just under a decade since he's played by adult actor Theo James. Their exact ages, for the most part though, are left ambiguously young. Number 76. With all the dangerous stunts on set, there are bound to be some injuries, right? Well, Zoe Kravitz received a scar when the wind blew Woodley's trailer door shut on her face. Kravitz needed 8 stitches from the whole affair. Number 77. Kravitz wasn't the only one to walk away with fresh battle wounds. Shailene Woodley is scarred on her chest and hip. She also suffered from several hernias. Looks like the future is a tough place. Number 78. Woodley received firearms training through the Discreet Protection Security Group by LAPD officers Charles Wonder and Jamie McBride. Sound familiar? These tough guys were inspiration for the protagonists in the movie End of Watch. Number 79. Fight coordinator J.J. Perry, a former soldier in the U.S. Army, put the cast through an intense multi-week boot camp. There, they learned shooting, knife throwing, and hand-to-hand combat. Number 80. Perry choreographed an original fighting style for the Dauntless based on George Foreman's defensive peekaboo stance. He wanted a style that could have realistically developed in this dystopic society. Accuracy at its finest. Number 81. Though it has been reported that the scene in which Edward's eye is stabbed out with a butter knife was cut to preserve the PG-13 rating, Berger says it was actually removed because it interrupted the flow of the story. Number 82. There was a part that was altered to keep the PG-13 rating. Near the end of the movie, one of the Dauntless initiatives is shot, and while the scene remains, the original cut of it was far more shocking and violent. Number 83. The iconic ziplining scene was this close to being cut from the movie. As Berger explains, it didn't add any new obstacles or information to Triss's journey, but he still fought for it because it was such a fun, landmark moment of the book. Number 84. Author cameo. During the capture the flag zipline sequence, the first person to come on the roof is Veronica Roth herself. Number 85. Shooting at the Navy Pier Ferris wheel was tricky because the production could only be there during off hours. To set dress as fast as physically possible, the team used mud and decals that resembled rust and were easy to quickly take on and off. Number 86. The Ferris wheel scene was a very romantic one to shoot. The full moon, the intimacy, Shailene Woodley's pants down. Wait, no, not like that. Theo James actually pantsed her as a joke during that shoot. Number 87. Theo James wanted to practice the kiss scene with Shailene Woodley as much as possible so that when they shot it, it wouldn't feel cheesy. He also said that the first take didn't feel right, so they had to do it again. Likely story, Theo. Number 88. The romantic subplot between Will and Christina that is memorable in the book is only barely present in the movie. This relationship was sidelined to dedicate more time to the main romance between Triss and 4. Number 89. Molly, Triss's Dauntless rival, went through a big personality change from book to film. When Triss takes Al's place during the knife throwing incident, not even flinching as 4 throws knives past her head, Molly grabs Triss to tell her that was cool. In the book, Molly would have never given her props. Number 90. Neil Berger used a lot of reflective surfaces, such as mirrors, water, and spoons throughout the film to illustrate the theme of identity. He had previously worked with similar visual styles on Limitless. Number 91. Many of the younger actors were intimidated by Kate Winslet, especially since she joined production late. She used this perception to her advantage as it helped her come off as more villainous. Number 92. Notice Kate Winslet carrying a lot of folders and iPads? That's because Winslet was 5 months pregnant during production, and these very various props were strategically placed to cover up her visible baby bump. Number 93. During the fight between Janine and Tris, pregnant Kate Winslet actually did a lot of her own stunts, including plenty of hits and falls. Director Berger kept trying to stop her because watching made him anxious. Number 94. An important character from the novel, Uriah, was cut from the movie. However, fear not, as this decision was likely a result of the character's small role in Divergent and larger role in the next movie, Insurgent, where you will find a lot more of him. Number 95. The score was composed by Junkie XL and executive produced by his mentor, the one and only, my favorite composer, Hans Zimmer. The two have collaborated in the past, having scored such classic blockbusters as Man of Steel, Dark Knight Rises, and Shark Tale. Number 96. Looking at songs from Ellie Goulding's Halcyon for the soundtrack, Berger quickly discovered that the sound and tone of her music perfectly aligned with the movie. He reached out to Goulding, and as a result, the soundtrack features her original cover, Beating Heart. Number 97. Ellie Goulding's music really speaks to Tris, literally. As the pop star performed vocals for the movie's score, Berger deemed her Tris's inner voice. Number 98. Kanye West was also a major musical influence of the film. Berger looked at songs from Yeezus, especially Black Skinhead, to channel the world of Divergent. So moved, he contacted Kanye's producer, leading to the track In Distress, a collaboration with A$AP Rocky. Number 99. The production company sat down with the actors before the release of the movie to prep them for the upcoming attention they'd be receiving thanks to their roles. Because, believe it or not, that can be even more overwhelming than a dystopian world. Number 100. Divergent was shot on a budget of $85 million, which is actually relatively small compared to other big releases like The Avengers, but still bigger than the first Hunger Games. Number 101. Because the franchise has such a large teen audience, a lot of the violence had to be toned down to secure the PG-13 rating. One way of doing this was by depicting less graphic physical violence and focusing more on emotional violence. Number 102. To promote the movie, Sephora released makeup lines in the colors of each of the 5 factions. Number 103. Despite being a lesser-known property at the time of its premiere, Divergent sold out half of its advanced ticket sales on the first day. Number 104. In total, Divergent grossed about $151 million from the domestic box office, which beats out other young adult adaptations like The Maze Runner, Ender's Game, and The Giver. Number 105. Divergent currently holds a daunting 40% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, though fans are a little more amiable, holding it at 70%. Number 106. Miles Teller may be too candid for his own good. He got into some heat when he said that he only took the film for business reasons and that it made him feel dead inside. He had to backpedal on that statement though, probably because the franchise had 3 more movies on the way. Number 107. Neil Berger was originally on track to direct the sequel, Insurgent. However, he was overwhelmed wrapping up pickups and post-production on Divergent while prepping the sequel, so he tagged out and Robert Schrenke stepped in, promising not to let the fans down.
What's up guys, this is Soy from Cinematica. Thanks for watching 107 Facts about Divergent. If you like this video, perhaps you'd like 107 Facts about Mockingjay. We also have 107 Facts about Mean Girls that are super interesting and you can watch them every day and not just Wednesdays. And make sure to subscribe because we have even more 107 Facts about your favorite movies and television shows. Also, the question that we have today is, which faction would you be in? Feel free to leave a comment with which faction you'd like to be in. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching Cinematica, where we help you watch smarter.